Everybody. Let me get this set up right. All right, hold up. Let's see. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So this the two books that I'm gonna be talking about. The Benner's commentary on the Torah, and then the Ancient Hebrew Torah. Let me make sure everything's working right. Get everything getting up. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Make sure all this stuff. All right, let's see. Yep, should work. Yep, there we go. It's working. All right, so let's go to the first thing. So basically, I actually had a podcast discussion with Jeff Benner, and it was about the Elohim. It was a great episode. You can find it on my YouTube, Rebirth of the Word. Just go in there, look on YouTube, Rebirth of the Word, and you'll see it. So let's talk about one of the first things that I highlighted in my Kindle because I'm using my Kindle for the highlights. I mean, see some of them right there. That's how I have it set up. And so the first thing that I highlighted was Adam means man. So when you hear the word Adam, it's just you can replace that with using the word man. Then the next one I highlighted was there's only one conception but two births. The Hebrew word for again is asaph, ASAPH, meaning to add something. In this case, the birthing of Abel was added to the birthing of Cain. Cain and Abel were not just brothers, but they were twins. That's according to what Jeff Brenner says about the ancient Hebrew text. Let's see what's the next thing that all right, I'm just going to read this part. It says, let me see. Hold on. I have to actually click this one because, okay, it's on the bottom. That's why. Okay, here we go. Oh, dang. Pressed the wrong button. Okay, here we go. Uncovering the nakedness of your father. It's basically a meaning to have a sexual union with your mother. Ham did not see his father's nakedness. Instead, he had a sexual union with his mother, and evidently, the product of that union was his son Canaan. Hence, his being cursed. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Let's see what's the next one. Okay, I highlighted about the two tablets. So there's nothing really. It's just about the tablets that he brought down with him. Let's see what's the next one. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this, I'm not doing this for specifically anybody in particular. I'm doing this basically for myself. Because what I like to do is go back to the books that I've read, whether they're on my Kindle or hard copy books, and I like to read what I highlighted. Or in some cases, if I use hard copy books, I use these right here, these still sticky tabs, and I put them next to my books. Like here we go. For example, this is a book about the Bible charts and timelines and stuff like that. And so I put my little sticky tabs in there. And what I like to do is I like to go back and read them for myself just to refresh my memory. So it's not something like I'm trying to prove something like, hey, I read this. And I'm just basically refreshing my memory. And while I'm doing it, since I like it and I have this passion of sharing what I've learned, I just go ahead and just go live and just share it this way. I mean, so you take it for what it's worth. It's not nothing. It's nothing important. Like I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just here trying to refresh my memory on what I've read. Let's see. It is important to make distinction between the simple reading and understanding of any text from one's interpretation of the text. It is not uncommon for people, when reading the text, to make an interpretation of the text based on their preconceived beliefs and biases. When we read the Bible and interpret it according to our beliefs, we will never discover truths within it, and therefore we are unable to grow in understanding. So that's why I just share what I've read. I mean, no, nothing else needs to be said about that. Sharing what I've read. Let's see, what's the next thing that I highlighted? Shem. Shem was something that I highlighted and was much more than just a name. It was the breath of an individual. To the Hebrews, the breath was more than just the exchange of air in the lungs. It was his character, the internal qualities of an individual that make him unique. So the idea of the word Shem meaning character. Okay. Let's see. What's the next thing that I highlighted that I thought was interesting? Let's see. Okay, it's about the eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth and stuff. So I don't really need to get too much into that. Let's see. What's the next one? Um, there we go. Okay, it talks about the 4 different books of the biblical books: the Tanakh, Testament, Apocrypha, and I can never say this word, but Pigrapha. I can never say that word, so I'll butcher it. Let's see. What exactly is Azazel? It's the name, or the word I should say, is a meaning of combination of goat and Azel. So it's as, meaning goat is as, and then sent away, Azel. So yeah, as AZ, and then AZ. Well, you know how to spell it, so you got to spell it, but it basically translates into scapegoat. And the second is that the word is the place to which the goat was sent. And then the third is the name of an individual, angel, or demon. Let's see, what is this? Okay, I highlighted something where it talks about kneeling and how it's in reference to, let's see where it says, usually translated. So it's, okay, so it means to show respect, usually translated as bless. But because respect is an abstract word, he basically says we need to uncover its original concrete meaning, which we can do by examining other words related to the verb. So it's just basically like using the word knee and gift, and it gets pretty interesting. So linguistically, I can see how it is, and I recommend getting this book. Let's see. All right, so here we go. Numbers 22:22. The Hebrew word Satan appears 27 times in the Hebrew Bible and is a noun meaning adversary. Well, most people know that. Just something I found that I highlighted. Interesting. Let's see the next thing. Let's see. Okay, I know that's going to come up because I've seen that earlier. Okay, so let me click on it because this one's going to have to go into detail. Okay, for soul, the modern Western view of the heart is very different from the ancient Hebrew view. The same is true for the word soul. When you hear the word soul, your mind must most likely interpret that. Okay, we know where the soul. Most of us. Let's see what the other part is. Okay, so here we go. Um, the word nefesh, nephesh, uh, can also be used for a creature. So from the Hebraic perspective, the nefesh is the whole of the person or creature, his mind, body, emotions, organs, and character. So right now, if you're looking at me, my mind, body, emotions is within my body, my organs, of course. And most of y'all know my character already. So basically, you're looking at a soul. If that's how I understand it correctly. I could be wrong, but I'm not here to be proven wrong, right? I'm just going off of what I read. Now, if you want to prove me wrong or right, go ahead and hit me up on the messenger. Let's see. Let's see the next one. Uh, okay, here we go. It gives an example. Here we go. In our code, okay, so here we go. This, I think this follows. Hold on, let me make this smaller. Okay, here we go. In our culture, a name is nothing more than an identifier. Okay, it has well for most people's they would say that there's no real meaning. For some people, there that definitely say there's a meaning behind their name. But however, in ancient Hebrew or Hebrew culture, names were chosen based on the character of the person. For instance, Adam named his wife, and I'm going to probably mess it up, is Hawa, even English, of course, because she was the mother of all living. And the Hebrew word Hawa, Hhawah, meaning living. So Noah in English was named this because when you got Noah, Noahh, and this Noah in English was named this because he would bring comfort. In the Hebrew word Noah with an extra H means comfort. So that's pretty interesting. So Noah was comfort. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. Okay. I thought this was interesting. Abraham does not name his son, but God does. But God himself does. And it says Genesis 17:19, showing that God was the Lord of Isaac from birth. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's see. What's the next one? Okay, Babel. To most people, the name Babel or Babel is known to us only as the name of the city where God confounded the languages. Therefore, its name was called Babel because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth. And from there, the Lord scattered them abroad. So everybody knows about the Tower of Babel idea. So Babel. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This is what I found out. What I thought was interesting. While we may only be familiar with this place name as Babel, as found in Genesis, this name is used 262 times throughout the biblical text. But instead of translating this name the same way all the time, the translators have chosen to translate it as Babylon. So when they say Babel, it's Babylon. And he says, yes, Babel and Babylon are one and the same place. Babylon is the place of confusion. So Babel and Babylon is the same place. Let's see. I did the Red Sea, of course, and nothing special. Okay, so here, this is what I thought was interesting. So cardinal directions in the modern world we use north as the primary orientation, but in the ancient Near East, east was the primary orientation. So he gives the Hebrew word for east being kedem, I believe that's how you say it. So I'm gonna just spell it Qedem, which is from the root word KDM, meaning to meet. And the rising sun is met, which morning in each morning in the east. All right, all right. I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so here we go. This fell under the Earth Age um, section, and the first thing he says under there is which came first, the Earth or the sun, moon, and the stars. And he gives a whole little idea of that, and at the end of it, this is exactly what he explains. Because there's also contradictions here. I'm not going to go into too much into it, but he says, and I quote, "When I read the Bible, I try not to read it from the modern Western perspective. Instead, I try and read it from an ancient Eastern one. The question, which came first, the earth or the sun and the moon, is a relevant question to the ancient Hebrews, and therefore not a question that can be answered from the biblical text." So I'm just going to leave that as that. I'm going to leave it like that because that's what that man said. I can't read ancient Hebrew like that. And unless you can, and I'm only going to go off what this man says. Let's see. Okay, the Aleph, which is basically the original pictograph for the ox head, the ancient pictographic form of the letter, and it gives you a letter for it, but a picture of two crossed sticks, which are used as a marker. Now that's interesting because if you look at the letter, the word TAV or TAW in ancient Hebrew, and it's X marks the spot, which is also relevant in with the cross. So that's interesting. The pictographic script picture of an ox head can be a picture of two sticks. Now, everything has to do with agriculture when you really think about the Bible, from eating the fruit, right, from to plowing the ground for everything else. Let's see. I'm gonna do something on that later on. I don't want to get too much into that right now. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Okay, here we go. Let me see. Okay, so let's see. Neighbor and evil, both of these words are the Hebrew word, and he gives you a word for it. And he says, okay, so friend, bad, prophet, goat, hairstorm, infant, wicked, and then gets some more words that can include the letter in, AYIN, and these are, and they basically but have two very different meanings. So when it comes to translating certain things in the ancient Hebrew Bible, you're going to make just a good guess on how the story should go. Let's see. Next thing I highlighted was it goes about the Greek Septuagint, and it includes talks about Ashtaroth. The next Hebrew names also include the letter. Okay, so it still talks about An or Ayin. Awen. I don't know how to say it. Ayin. Ayin. So yeah, That's just a lot of trying to figure out what's the best way to translate some of this stuff. Uh, I like this one. It should be noted that the English word evil has no ancient Hebrew equivalent. Let me say that again. It should be noted that the English word evil has no ancient Hebrew equivalent. Most English translations will use the word evil, usually for the Hebrew word ra. Now, this is a good one, which simply means bad. In the ancient Hebrew mind, there is no such thing as an evil person or thing. Okay, so when we talk about Bible, Ra, evil, and all this other stuff, people picking and choosing what they wanted to make evil because the ancient Hebrew text literally doesn't have, there is no such thing as evil. To understand the words good and bad from a more Hebraic understanding, these words should be understood as functional and dysfunctional. God is both functional, such as seen in the creation story of Genesis. Hold on, let me click on it because I got to go more into it. Here we go. As well as dysfunctional, such as the destruction of the flood. So I'm gonna read this again so you understand what Jeff Banner said, because he translates the ancient Hebrew text. He has over 20 books. I have 15 of them, all on my Kindle. And I'm gonna just say what he said again. That it should be noted that the English word evil has no ancient Hebrew equivalent. Most English translations will use the word evil, English now, evil, usually for the word Hebrew word ra, which simply means bad. In the ancient Hebrew mind, there's no such thing as an evil person or thing. To understand the words good and bad from a more Hebraic understanding, these words should be understood as functional and dysfunctional. God is both functional, such as seen in the creation story of Genesis 1, as well as dysfunctional, such as the destruction of the flood. Now, if you want to jump and get all mad and upset because you don't believe that God was dysfunctional, go ahead, do it. Nobody's stopping you. But I'm just telling you what somebody who actually studies, translates, and shares the good book. So do what you do. Let's see. Talks about the soul some more in here, and he gives a Webster's dictionary of it. I'm not gonna go into that. Here's another one. Approximately 75% of the Tanakh Old Testament is poetry. So you're not supposed to read it like a book. You're supposed to have rhythm with it. But a lot of people ain't got no rhythm, so they don't know how that works. And that's why they don't understand what the hell they're talking about. But anyway, let's see. Water is involved in most of the miracles of the Bible. Most people know that already. It talks about in a certain verse, in two verses, the Elohim are being associated with light, positive, and darkness, negative. It is interesting to note that the Jews and Christians always associate Elohim with light and Satan with darkness. Well, most people know that. Yeah, but this is what he says. This is pretty interesting, but I don't understand. Let's see. However, almost every time Elohim appears to the Israelites, he is in the darkness. Oh, shit. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Deuteronomy 4:31, Deuteronomy 4:24. Genesis 1:26, Genesis 3:5, Genesis 3:22, Joshua 23:15, Deuteronomy 31, 301. Isaiah 45, 7. So if you're just wondering why I'm saying that, is because if you want to fact check something, there you go. And it's recorded, so you can come back and go check it whenever you want to. So you can come back and do what you do. I'm just sharing what I've read. Let's see. The Semitic people did not view a god as strictly a supernatural deity, but simply as one of power and authority. Take that how you want that. Take that. Take that. Just take it how you want it. Let's see. From the ancient perspective, a god is anyone or anything that has power and authority over another. We don't even have to argue that. That's just common sense. What's up, Red Rose? And then let's see. Let's see. Okay, here we go. A common question is it really helpful to look at the Hebrew words behind a translation? He says, while many will say no, the English is sufficient. He says, I have found that those who have no comprehension of Hebrew are the ones who say this. But those who know Hebrew or have studied the Hebrew words of the Bible understand that no translation can really convey the meaning of Hebrew words accurately. And he gives a case in point, and I just want more details. You can get the book. I'm just telling you what the man said. Let's see. Let's see. What else did I find interesting in this book? Some of this stuff is not just okay. Here we go. Let's see. So it talks about. Okay, here. Let me click on it. Talks about the Hebrew word for the crocodile, which is tanin, Taniyn. Talks about how it appears in the Hebrew word, in the Hebrew biblical, or the biblical Hebrew word, and it's 28 times. And then he goes into the question of asking, is it possible that Moses' staff turned into a crocodile instead of a serpent? And he says he believes so, and the usual Hebrew word for serpent is nahash, Nahhash. And this is the word that is used in two different verses, and he gives two different verses. And he believes that the word Nahash, Nahhash, means reptile, which is the reason why he believes that one translation is serpent, and then he believes in why it's crocodile because both are reptiles. Dang. Yes, that's interesting though. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Gives you a whole different outlook on it. The number 12 is written in Hebrew as Shnei Asar, Sheneyaasar, which can literally be translated as 210. And then we would, okay. I don't know why I did that, why I wrote that. Maybe because everything, most hierarchies are within 12, in the number 12 range. So that's probably why. Okay, I'll read this little bit part right here because I thought this was interesting. It says, in order to understand the Hebraic meaning of the Hebrew word Elohim, we will need to look at the roots from which it is derived. The parent root, El, is a strong leader. Derived from this parent root is the child root Allah, meaning an oath, or more Hebraically, a blinding yoke that binds the strong leader to another in an agreement. The word Allah is found in the following verse. It says Genesis 26:28, the RMT version. Let's see. So yeah, Allah, you can see why. See, that's why I don't understand why people be fighting over gods, man. Like this stuff is literally written in the text. People are freaking arguing. Like if the ancient Hebrew people would literally had the word Allah meaning oath, or more Hebraically a blinding yoke, Elohim, Yahweh, and there's all these different names in here about who God is. Why is there even arguments? Like Jesus, like which one do you want to call him? It seems like that's the argument. But dang, he changing his name up too. So what you gonna do? Be mad because God don't want to be called Allah no more, and He don't want to be called not Yahweh no more. He want to be called something else. Like what you gonna do when He wants to be called Boogaman or some shit like that? I don't know. Come on, man. Like arguing over nothing. It's wow. Here we go. This is the next one that I found. I'm just waiting for it to load up. And it talks about jealousy. And this is a good point right here. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Like, man, you might be calling the wrong God, the wrong names, and that's why you got all these curses on you because you're not praying and worshiping the right God, and you sitting over here thinking the devil doing it to you, but all you have to do is just pick up a book and read some shit, and you'll learn that you might have been praying to the wrong one. But you can deal with your own demons yourself. Because I just read and I just gain all this knowledge. So here we go. This is what I found really interesting was manna. Most people know what manna is. And here we go. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And this is what I found interesting too, is because the last part, what he says in here says, what I have found really amazing is that while there is a heavy Greek influence on Christian translations, this influence has entered into Judaism as well. Here's the Jewish Publication Society 1917 translation of Exodus 16:31. Israel called the name thereof manna. Why does a Jewish translation of the Hebrew Bible use the word manna as found in the Greek Septuagint for the word man? Man, I just said that earlier. Man, Adam, right? What surprised me, Jeff Brenner, not me personally, through the survey was that a large majority of the Jews who followed Judaism thought that the Hebrew word for the bread-like substance was manna. So if they was eating something out there in that desert and they was surviving, manna, Adam, I don't need to be talking about no more. Talk about cannibalism later on. But let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah, I got a lot. I got some more stuff. Almost over with. All right. Okay. With this book at least. Uh, hold on. Was this it? Okay, yeah, that was it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. The bull, strong, mighty, south-earthed, valiant, angel, and chiefess. This is a Hebrew word for those descriptions is Aviyr, Aviyr. I don't know why I did that. Maybe just because of the bull part, because of agriculture, strong, mighty. No, L, what I just talked about. Let's see. Okay, so repentance, but literally means to return back to the correct path. So to repent means just to get back on the right path. Uh, Okay, so here we go. This is what I thought was interesting. Slave, the original pictograph for the word. Hold on for a second. Let me do something real quick. All right, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, y'all. My bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad. What you cracking up over there about, Rose? What I say was funny? Yeah, what's up? Nah, I'm just playing. Let's see. Okay, yeah, slave. Pictograph. This is a picture. For a pictographic script, it would be a picture of an eye, meaning to see or experience. Oh, unicorn. Here we go. Hold on. Unicorn. Here we go. Let me see. Hold on. Let me skim through this real quick. All right. So it really nothing. It just says God brought them out of Egypt. He had has it where the strength of an unicorn. Let's see. The Hebrew word rem is an unknown animal, but the King James version translate this as unicorn. Let's see. Check this real quick. I took myself off the thing. uh, okay. The word unicorn is derived from two Latin words. The first is uni, meaning one, and the second is corn, meaning horn. A unicorn is a one-horned animal. It's most likely, let's see, what is it going to be most likely? A rhinoceros. Yeah, unicorn. Yeah, I'll show you. Hold on. See? Right there. It's just that little bit. I know you can't probably see it clearly, but hold on. Oh, that's right. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, wait. There we go. See? That's all that it says about unicorn. Look, right there. Oh, yeah, you can see it pretty good. Do-do-do-do. Come with them sources. Come with them sources. Only come with them sources. Let's see. That was it for that one. So I gotta go to the next one. And it's the Ancient Hebrew Torah. I only did two things on here anyway, so this is about to end anyway. So the Y and the Yud. Okay, so the WAW and YUD. He says that the oldest manuscript of the Hebrew Bible, well, at least until 1947, the oldest manuscript of the Hebrew Bible was the Codex Leningrad, which is dated to around 1000 AD. And then with the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, we now have manuscripts that are 1,000 years older than the Codex. So that's one thing that I did. Let's see. The second one was, hold on, let me make this smaller. All right, hold on. Wrong one. There we go. All right. Oh shoot. Okay, and this is another one that I found interesting from this book that I did. Because the original manuscripts of the Bible are long gone, There is no way to know which Hebrew script was used. We can make an educated guess that most of them were written with the Middle Hebrew script, also called Paleo Hebrew, while the older books may have been written in the early or pictographic Hebrew script. The Ancient Hebrew Torah employs the early Hebrew script for the sole reason that the script is the foundation to all the later scripts. And that's it. So, yep, that's it, y'all. Let's see. Let me get my phone so I can tell you which ones, because I got 15 books of Jeff Benner. So I'm gonna do all 15. I'm gonna do 15 his I'm gonna do every book that I personally own. But I'm just gonna go through Jeff Benner's books. So this is gonna be a few days. So let's see. Next ones will be His Name is One by Jeff Benner, and then Ancient Hebrew Lexicon. So I haven't decided what schedule I wanted to do this on. So this was more, I'm still getting in a groove of how I want to do this. But if anything, it would probably be about this time, 10 o'clock. And if you want to have a discussion with me or you got any questions or anything like that, hit me up. Let me know. Rebirth of the Word. Go to my website, rebirthoftheword.com. All I do is just share what I've learned, what I've read. There's too many people out there that want to get recognition for what they do. I just want to share what I've read. That's it. I'm not even gonna lie, it's been pretty awesome doing it, because the recognition that I actually had and I wasn't looking for was somebody actually liked the stuff that I shared and actually sent me a copy of their book. And when they sent me a copy of their book, guess what? They thanked me for sharing what I've learned. So that's my biggest joy, is just sharing what I've learned and people doing their due diligence and researching behind me. There's also other times where other people have, thanks, Rose, that I would share something on Twitter or X, I should say, or even Facebook or something, and they'll say, "Hey, man, I just read something similar to what you just shared," and they'll take a picture of what they shared, and I can able to, use their source as a source because they did exactly what I did. So yeah, what I'm saying, this is awesome. I just like to share what I did. I'm getting better with the videos, of course, doing new things, trying to do different things and stuff. So till next time, y'all, knowledge is power.